Welcome back. We're continuing with anime season. As you can see behind me, I have a bunch of anime-inspired products. Some we looked at, some we will be looking at. Some are just really cool. I'll let you discern which are which. But today we're going to be looking at another threezero sponsored review of their FigZero line. If you're not familiar with the popular Ultraman series, it's a combination of anime, manga, and graphic novels. So today is going to be kind of anime adjacent. We'll be taking a look at the Ultraman Suit Zero from the Ultraman Suit Another Universe. I want to say it's a graphic novel series. So, like I said, not purely anime, a little bit anime adjacent, but still the character itself is kind of anime, so I think it fits in well with the theme anyway. But we'll start by taking a look at this box. We've seen other threezero FigZero before. This box is a little bit different. You can see, again, it has that nice gold leaf on it, really making it pop. The Ultraman series, it's going to have this sort of different background. I think it lends it to the Another Universe storyline, so that kind of fits in there. But other than that, not too much of a divergence from the other one, and I think it's just because it's series specific. This box is fitting more in with Ultraman, and we saw in the Jujutsu Kaisen it was more of a kind of a forest background, giving to the storyline a little more. So I think it fits in with that whole segment. So kind of appropriate in that sense. But again, these are big boxes, as we've shown you. They're the 6 scale is a little bit larger than we've seen with the DLX line, which is about 7 inches. But again, you know, not too much divergence there in terms of the design of the box. So looking inside, this is again a Velcro clasp. I'm not a big fan of Velcro. The only thing I've seen threezero do with the magnetic clasp so far is the Hulkbuster Iron Man, and it's amazing having that magnetic clasp on there. But you can see here, it's very similar to the other FigZeros we looked at, where you have this nice image here, and this one is kind of like a light instead of a shadow frame image. It's really cool. It makes the guy pop here on the left. And then in the right, you have that window, so you can see the figure here. Immediately, we can see this is going to be a little different than the other FigZeros we looked at. Before we were looking at them, they had a mixture of mediums of plastic and fabric, and this Ultraman obviously is not going to have fabric. This suit is going to be more metallic by nature, so we're going to see some die cast in here mixed with plastic. So why don't we crack them open and take a look at this guy. All right, let's take a look at what's in the box. I have it out here so you don't need to listen to the crinkling of the plastic. So we just have our warranty sheet and the instruction manual, as per usual with a lot of the other figures we've seen. There's instructions on this one on how to put the batteries in. The other FigZeros we looked at did not have batteries, so this was a little bit of a divergence. Very similar to the Iron Man line we looked at. These ones are in the head, and instead of the chest, it's actually in the back. But the same battery type, the AG1. We have shown you that you can get the equivalent of that. I believe it's a 364 from the Energizer. So just 4 of these, so one 5-pack should be able to handle this guy. It'll show you how to install them. The back just kind of pops off, and you just access the little box there. The head easily comes off, and you can access the battery compartment there. So no worries on that. It's very easy to put them in, so don't stress over the batteries. Just like we've seen with the other FigZero figures, there's a lot of plastic keeping the figure safe and not scratched. In this case, he's going to be made out of a die cast in plastic, so it's kind of nice to pack them this way so you don't going to see any scrapes to the paint. We have little protectors on everything here, all the way down to his ankle joints, all the way around his knee pads. Everything has a little plastic bag or little, I guess, protectors, I will call them. So yeah, this guy is coming out. You can easily see the die cast on him already. Really nice look to him. The plastic would not do him justice. I mean, he's an Ultraman. You can't have that on there. He needs to have that metallic look to really make the figure pop. These bags are really all over him. Could be a little bit of an effort to take them out, but here we go. So like I said, the head just easily pops off. This is a very smooth way to take it off, so you're not needing to struggle with it. And the visor comes on. You can see those eyes. They look really great. And then the clock timer here on the chest that comes on too. It's got a nice glow to it. With this size, it looks more impressive than the Iron Man figures do with this, just because they have smaller eyes, because they're a smaller scale. So this is kind of like a giant Iron Man, if you want to think about it that way, in terms of its mixture of the die cast and the plastic and its light up functionality. So just a little bit nicer though. They really took care when making it this size. They're able to get a lot more detail into these larger ones. We'll check out all the articulation on this guy, but we'll get you some close-ups here so you can see what he looks like. So you can see that great armor, that die cast. You really see it. You can see it gleaming in the light here. He still has a lot of articulation. This guy, I believe, has 44 points of articulation on him, and he's that mixture of the die cast, different kinds of metals as well. Some plastic, different kinds of plastics in there, but he just looks really great. I mean, that die cast system that we've seen in a lot of the threezero figures really help them pop and just take them beyond just your average action figure look, which most action figures in plastic, that dull look just doesn't capture the metallic feel or look of a figure that's wearing armor. So it's kind of great that they incorporated that into these Ultramen, particularly ones that are very armor heavy and have this great aesthetic where you could see that shine and give it that real sort of I don't want to say, it's like almost like it's real and just kind of a shrunken down version of the full-size scale. So that's really cool that they're able to incorporate that into the design and the engineering of the figures. And they still have great range of motion, as you can see here. He could bend at his arms all the way, his elbows here, his shoulders. The pads, the armor plates move a little bit like we saw in the Iron Man figures, so he could have that extra dexterity. He has the full range in his arms, his wrists, his knees. He's got that great movement at the hips too. And then, of course, as we showed you at the beginning, the ankles here move. That articulation really helps bring this figure to life and gives you a lot of movement here. The hips come out a little bit, so you get a little extra agency out of those. Try crossing the arms here. Look at that, great movement. Even in like an armor, you can see the ball here on the shoulder lets you take the arm around to the front. So yeah, that clock timer does shut off eventually. He's gonna lose his Ultraman powers. I don't know if it shuts off on its own or if I hit it by accident, but I'll keep an eye on that. But that's pretty cool if it intentionally turns off after a while, because Ultramen don't get to stay in that form forever. They have a limited time frame. So that's really cool. Then you can see the plastic on the side here and the ribs of the costume. So it's just that nice mix. But he does kind of bend at the midsection too, which is nice, but it's seamless, so you can't see any kind of sort of break in that armor, which is really great too. Gives you the sense that it's all one piece. We'll take a look at his accessories here. Of course, he has his Slugger Hawks here, and with some hands to hold these. So it's nice. And then we'll see the Zero Defender in here. Oh, here it is. There's the Zero Defender and an extension piece. So it'll help you put these together too to form the Twin Hawk offense mode and the Twin Hawk the defense form. We'll show you some montage of those in a second. He has an assortment of hands here. He's going to have some hands that help him hold weapons. He's going to have some hands that just kind of help him do, just action poses with the hands open here, so some open hand ones. He has some knife hands, so he could do his little knife attack moves or some chopping. And then, of course, a fun little victory sign here. That's a nice little inclusion. We'll test that one out in a second. And then he's got some little additional extensions for the Slugger Hawk form. So we'll put all those together and show you a little montage of his assortment of accessories. But always like to test the hands just to see how these go from figure to figure. Sometimes they come off super easy, but other times we have some issues. This one just came right off, really easy. No pressure needed on that. And I think it's due to this being really soundly in there. This peg is not coming out like we saw with the Jujutsu Kaisen line. Those pegs came out on a couple of the figures. This one is like molded in there, so that's great. That gives you a lot of resistance to pull the hand off. And then we'll just kind of pop. This one went on super easy. Yeah, peace, because this was just perfect. I mean, it just went on super easy and really smooth. And I really appreciate that in a figure, particularly in this scale, because you don't want to be playing around with that. I always get concerned over time you wear out the joint, they just won't work anymore, but that's not the case here. I mean, from right out of the box, it's just going on really, really easy. I would try second hand just because that went on so easy. It's almost like deceptively easy there, but nope. I mean, that system is perfect. Those hands just go on really easily. No struggle whatsoever. So yeah, I would say this is a great hand design. It's still got great rotation and the wrist bends a little bit. It doesn't have as much movement as we saw with the other FigZero figures, but keep in mind he also has this armor, so he's not going to have as free range of motion in an armor as you would just a bare wrist. I see the light didn't go off, so I guess it's not a color timer. I just accidentally hit it, so it doesn't automatically turn off. It will stay on indefinitely to give you the look of the Ultraman mode. So let's give you a montage of some different poses and some different assortment of accessories so you can really see what this guy has to offer. I'm going to start off with some knife hands. You can see he can get some really great poses with the legs here, just like we saw with the Iron Man in the little line. He's got a great center of gravity, so he's easy to balance. You don't have to worry about this guy toppling over easily, despite the heavier weight than the other FigZeros. You can see that really great range of motion here. He can get out of him some deep stances, and with the assortment of accessories here, which, again, it's really easy to balance these guys. They're not going to topple over. You can get some really dynamic poses, some great fighting poses, which is really awesome with a figure of this size, without a stand especially. And here we have a great shot of him with his Slugger Hawks. Again, you can see those great dynamic fighting poses you can get with the figure. The weapon holding hands, as I'm going to dub them, really hold these easily. It doesn't take a whole lot to maneuver them into position. They kind of just fit in a little. There's a little give in the thumbs and the fingers, and then they're snap back in place after you get the weapons in the hands. So very easy to achieve this, very easy to put it all together. Not a lot of struggle here. And again, those hand systems, the hands come on and off really, really, really easily without any pushback. So it's altogether just been a really simple figure to operate so far compared with some other figures I've seen. Taking you through the weapon systems here, we have the Zero Defender piece here, and we're going to show you the two different forms you can have with the Hawks. So first up, we have that Zero Twin Hawk offense form. So this is just achieved by taking the Twin Hawk blades off the holders and adding them onto the Zero Defender piece without that extra portion of it attached. And you get that fully extended attack sort of mode that he could be in. Completing the different combinations, we have the Zero Twin Hawk defense form here. Now those little pieces you saw when I flicked out of the tray when I was opening it before, these kind of round out and fill in the blades on the bottom. All this is in the instructions, so you don't really need to do any research or figure out how to assemble this. So basically every piece you have goes into this one to form this defense form here. It looks great. It's my favorite just because it's got a lot going on with it, a lot of detail in it, a lot of components. It's the coolest of the set. Not too difficult to assemble. Everything just kind of pressure fits in, no snapping or anything like that. So the theme with this guy seems to be everything is just very simplified, very easy, not a lot of struggle here to get what you want out of it. We made it through our gauntlet of poses, so we're going to end with this nice little victory sign that they included. I think that's really fun. You don't really see something like that with a lot of figures, so it gives them a little more personality and a little more character. And as I said with the other FigZero reviews, I like the inclusions of finger guns, thumbs up, victory signs, anything that just gives the character a little color. As we've shown you, this guy is clearly impressive. With the FigZero line, we hadn't seen anything in a die-cast and plastic combination yet. Everything we've seen was plastic and fabric. So this was kind of a surprise to see this sort of medium, which is just like a larger version of the DLX Iron Man we've seen. So they really nailed it. They pulled it off. It works great. The lights are easy to turn on and off here. I love how the battery is in the back, so you don't have to worry about fumbling with the chest to get it in. So it's a great improvement. Hopefully they do something like that with the Iron Man series. It just makes it easier. The head is really easy to get on and off too. Everything just, it looks amazing. They have a great finish on this guy, the reflective with the die cast. The weapon system is really cool to be able to assemble these larger portions and then have the smaller forms as well. The hands are amazing. I love it when someone engineers the hands properly, so they're easy to get on and off. You don't have to struggle with them. Particularly if it's designed to have an assortment of hands, you shouldn't have to really fumble with it every single time you want to. So it's a great feature, great attention to detail they put into it. All around, all that great articulation, those 44 points, you could really get a lot of agency out of this character, a lot of movement, a lot of dynamic poses. So yeah, I mean, he looks great, operates great, designed great. This is just a terrific figure. Really impressed with what they've done in this medium in terms of both the size and what they've done with the mixed media here between the metal and the plastic. If you're an Ultraman fan, you're going to really want to get this guy. He's just done really well. I'm sure the other Ultraman in the series have done well as also, but this guy is really, really impressive with this system and this mixture of the metal and the plastic. He just comes out looking top notch here. A lot of value for the money on this guy. So he is going to be releasing in the next couple of months. You should see him in the early winter or late winter of 2023. We'll have a link up where you can pre-order him right now. I think he retails around $150, just like the other FigZeros do, but clearly worth it, especially with this die cast on here. You don't typically see figures like this with die cast, so it's great to see him in this size like this. And he pulls it off. I mean, it doesn't make him top heavy, he doesn't fall over, so like I said, great center of gravity, easy to balance, so terrific figure all around. So check him out. We'll have a link to check out some more threezero products, including their other Ultramen if you're into that series. And what you can see all their various lines. We've shown you the DLX line, there's a MDLX line, there's the FigZero S. We'll be showing you a FigZero S soon as well, so you can check out what's different about those guys. But all around, terrific figure. Great what they're doing with this series, so check out more. We'll have links, again, like I said, to them to purchase this guy or to see other products. Anime season continues throughout the month of December we're in now. So we'll have some other products for you. You can see some of them behind me, so we'll take a look at those and more that I haven't given spoilers yet for. So keep tuning back and we'll show you some really cool stuff that's upcoming and recently released. So like, subscribe, and follow, and we will see you guys next time.